Sena versus Sena Mahayuddh for the Worli seat in South Mumbai. In this high-profile seat from the Shiv Sena of Eknath Shinde, it is Milind Deora, who is up against Shiv Sena UBT's Aditya Thackeray, the son of former Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray. The Worli seat is a stronghold of Uddhav Sena, and Aditya had won it convincingly in 2019. Aditya, who was the first member of Thackeray family to contest polls in 2019, emerged victorious by a whopping margin of more than 70,000 votes. In this prestige battle, Milind Deora faces a tough challenge. He is a former Congress leader who left the party in January, weeks before general elections, and joined Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena. The Mumbai South Lok Sabha constituency, which has Worli Assembly segment as its part, was once considered backyard of the Deora family. Milind Deora's father, Worli Deora, who was with Congress, won it 4 times from 1984 to 1991. Milind Deora himself won the seat twice as a Congress leader in 2004 and 2009. Eknath Shinde had given Deora the charge of Mumbai South constituency during Lok Sabha polls. And while Arvind Sawant of Shiv Sena UBT won the seat, his victory margin dropped from 1.28 lakh votes in 2019 to just about a lakh in 2024. But will this momentum continue in Deora and Shinde Sena's favour even in assembly polls? Results on November 23 will tell. Bureau Report, Times Now.
We're joined now by the Shiv Sena Shinde camp leader and candidate really from the Worli constituency. Milind Deora is with us. Milind Deora, what is the focus in this particular election for you? What is the issue with which you're going to the people?
The issue is are local. The issues are Mumbai-centric and certainly Maharashtra-centric. The larger issue, going beyond even Worli, is that today Mumbai and Maharashtra are moving forward. There is unprecedented infrastructure that is being rolled out in this city, in the state. We have retained our position as the #1 destination for attracting foreign direct investment in India. In fact, last year almost 52% of foreign direct investment that came to India came to Maharashtra. That's because of the efforts of the Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Ministers, the state government, all the work that they've been doing in the last few years. A business-friendly environment that is creating jobs. It's time we have to take this city forward and the state forward, and we have to oppose speed breaker politics, pothole politics as I call it, where the opposition is only hell-bent on opposing things for the sake of opposing things. Right. And every single project, their argument is that the centre has not given projects to Maharashtra. The centre wanted to give one of the largest refineries to Maharashtra, they opposed it. Centre wanted to build the largest nuclear plant in the world in Maharashtra, they opposed it. Centre wanted to build the largest port in the country, Madhavdas port in Palghar, they opposed it. Finally got done. Bhumi Pujan happened recently by the Prime Minister. Centre wanted to help support the metro. Aditya Thackeray opposed it. Led to a 4-year delay, 14,000 crore cost escalation. So every single project that the centre wants to do, purely because of the hatred of certain individuals, they are opposing it. That doesn't augur well with the people of this state. We're a progressive state, we're an economic, industrialized state, and people are a business-friendly people. And we have to retain that image for Maharashtra to take the state forward.
Preempted one of the questions I was about to ask you about Maharashtra versus Gujarat. But in a contest which is Sena versus Sena, how is your narrative of outsider when your contestant is Aditya Thackeray really going to work on ground? Because, it is ultimately a Sena versus Sena fight that we are seeing.
Well, on ground, to give you some data, 5 years ago, Aditya won this seat as an MLA by almost 70,000 votes. In the Lok Sabha election, his candidate got a lead from here, but by only 6,500 votes. The margin shrunk by 90%. That shows there's something wrong in what they've been doing here. And the reason for that is that the UBT faction has 1 MP from here. It has 3 MLAs, 1 MLA and 2 MLCs MLCs. It has 3 former mayors, many corporators. The people of Worli have given them a lot of love, lot of blessings. Despite that, they failed to deliver on their promises locally for Mumbai and for Maharashtra. And that's why that margin in 5 years shrunk by 90%.
But this is being perceived as a very tough seat for you. Would you have considered another seat, an easier seat perhaps?
No, I was not. Firstly, I'm already a member of parliament. I'm serving the party, the state, the city, in the centre, in parliament. This is something the Mahayuti decided. They said we should put a strong candidate, best foot forward. I accepted the challenge. There are no rights and wrongs in these things. If we had put up a local Karyakarta against Aditya, who is an outsider, a local Worlikar, someone who lives in Worli, understands the problems of people of Worli, is accessible, then my friends in the media would have said you're giving a walkover to him. So the party decided to field a heavyweight to put their best foot forward. I'm always ready to accept the challenge.
Right. How much of this election, the schemes that have been given, that have been announced, of course they are being accused of, the government is being accused of spending a lot of money last moment. But have those schemes really made an impact? Ladki Bahan is of course one, but what about the other slew of schemes that were announced shortly before the election announcement?
I find it laughable because when the scheme was announced, the opposition said that the government, the scheme is wrong. They're trying to buy the voters with money. Then they said 1500 is too little. Then they said we're going to scrap it. Then they went to court to try to scrap it. Then they said it's a drain on the exchequer. Now in their manifesto, they said we're going to do the similar scheme but 3,000 rupees. So they need to make up their mind. Is it a good scheme? Is it a bad scheme? If it's a good scheme, why were you opposing it? If it's a bad scheme, then why are you proposing to double it? So this is just confusion within the alliance. As I said in the past, they have nothing constructive to offer for the last 10 years. It's just hatred for individuals, negative politics. The hope is if I attack an individual enough, abuse them enough, people will think I'm the best option. That's not how things work.
When you talk about abusive politics, very interestingly, we've seen Nana Patole come out and make a remark of, showing BJP its place. That of a dog is what he has compared it to. What would you say about this kind of discourse that appears to be, getting shriller and shriller?
Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I'm so focused locally. I don't even know what's happening in the media. I've always believed keep the discourse clean, keep it healthy, keep it positive, keep it constructive, keep it about issues, not about people.
Well, even Mr. Fadnavis is accused of making a very derogatory comment when attacking or responding to a comment by OSC. So do you think on both sides there's need to keep the discourse
Again, I really don't know. I've not been following it. But I think that, the opposition, I understand their frustration because they feel that, they've been very abusive. If you look at Mr. Shinde, for instance, he's been very calm and composed. He doesn't criticize them at a personal level. He talks about issues. They are like, oh, you broke my party. These parties are not individuals. They're not family enterprises. Parties they belong to the people. They're public trusts. And that's how parties need to think of them. And individuals need to think of them. They can't run them like a family-run company.
Right.
And when you have that, then you will have hatred towards someone.
You mentioned something very interesting, that you're focused on your local campaign here in Worli. Would you say that's true for the rest of the state as well? Because, on the one hand, we've been seeing the battenge, cutenge narrative. Yogi Adityanath, Prime Minister, saying, ek hai to safe hai. Rahul Gandhi is talking about his caste census, etc., that he's spoken about before. Are these national issues dominating this election, or is it local issues?
All issues dominate every election. Every election is dominated by local to national issues. That's the reality of politics. I don't think you can get around that.
Within the alliance itself, there are many who have seen the performance of Mr. Ajit Pawar in Lok Sabha, and they say that perhaps within the alliance, that's the weakest link as far as your alliance is concerned. Would you say that? Would you agree with that perception?
I wouldn't agree with that. I think that certainly he won 1 out of 4 seats in Parliament, in the parliamentary election. I think he's strong in the assembly, he has strong MLAs, and they'll do well.
Last question, what is the number that you predict for your alliance?
I never predict numbers, but I think that people will want the city-state to move forward. I think they understand that there's consistency. People want things to move forward. People don't want speed breaker politics. People want politics without speed limits. That's the politics we are offering. That's the kind of solutions we are offering. We're not just talking about what we did in the past, but what we want to do in the future. Others are just talking about what happened, what went wrong. There's nothing to offer in the future. And people have to look towards the future. Voters are not concerned about whose party was broken. Voters are concerned about what are you doing for my city, for my state, for my locality. That's what affects people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So that's Milind Deora talking about his own campaign, the issues that he's been focused on, and what he thinks will be the important factors as far as this entire election is concerned. With Gopal, Madhavdas G reporting from Worli for Times Now.